So what is going on, guys? My name is Lethal and welcome back to a brand new video. Now today's video is going to be slightly different, so I'm going to stop blabbering on and just get straight into the content of this. So when I first started playing League of Legends, I did what any person would do and kind of research into the game. I knew it was a 5v5 battle game and that I wanted to just kind of get more information to know what I was jumping into. So I went onto YouTube and typed in League of Legends beginner guide and found that most of the guides were extremely long and didn't contain exactly what I needed to know. So in this video, my aim is to tell you as much as possible in the shortest amount of time. So as a quick disclaimer, I probably have missed stuff that I've just completely forgotten about. If I do apologize. Also, timestamps down below. This guide is very for beginners who are just starting the game. However, there is some information that might help some people who have just relatively started playing it, which will be at the end of the video. As I say, timestamps down below. So let's get into it. The first thing, starting playing League. Now, if you don't know what roles are, there are five types of roles in League of Legends. On the left hand side, you see the jungle. The two in the middle is the mid, and then you have on the far right AC. Now, top and mid are very similar in the sense of you're kind of the damage dealers of the team. You're the people that are going to be inflicting the most amount of damage on kind of like the heartbeat and the engine of the team. They have the most impact on the map of games. The bot lane, which is the ADC and the support. The support is tends to be this sort of champion that will just help set up plays for the other ones, and the ADC is another damage dealer. So you tend to have three damage dealers and two kind of support-ish roles like the playmakers of the team. Now, after that, I would recommend going on to finding a champion. Now, when you open League of Legends client, if you go into collection, you can actually select, as I've done here, where or what position you want to play and see what champions there are. I didn't know you could do this when I first started playing the game, and it really helped me when I first decided, or when I decided to start maining a role, to see exactly what champions I could play and exactly um, what sort of other champions there are. I would recommend doing this. It will help you out a lot if you're just starting, just to kind of see what sort of champions and what their abilities can do. As well as that, I would recommend choosing a difficulty that is very low. If you go onto the champions as I'm about to do now, you can see the difficulty that is kind of like recommended. As you see, Nasus is only a 1-star difficulty. Now, I'm not entirely sure, but I think the difficulty is based on skill shots and stuff. Some champions have abilities which are just point and click, um, or and then you have other champions which are skill shots is what they called, which is where you kind of like fling something like daggers, for example, towards an enemy, and you kind of have to angle it. But as you see, the difficulty ranks from 1 being the easiest to 3 being the hardest, and so on and so forth. I would recommend that you always start with a lower difficulty. Once you've kind of mastered that and you feel more comfortable, then you can go on to higher champions. So moving on to cover the rift exactly, or the three main sort of objectives. The two nexuses, which is your objective, you want to destroy the other team's nexus, as well as where each lane plays. Lane is obviously mid, bottom is where your support and the ADC play, and where your jungler will spend a good amount of time basically doing what the laners do, farming up XP and get more. However, if you want to learn more details, if there is kind of a demand to do it. So, the Rift is pretty big once you get onto it and can be pretty daunting, especially if you're new and not feeling the most confident. So, what also do you need to know when you're on the Rift? Now, the Rift has an entire team. You have the Baron on the right, which is the kind of one of the main objectives that spawns at 20 minutes in. You have the Rift Herald, which is the first 10, that can be used to destroy towers. It kind of runs being collected, or the first team to 4. You have the thing in the bottom right, which is known as the Elder Drake. It has massive capabilities. I can't remember them off the top of my head. I think some gets below 5, they have an execute, which just kills them instantly. So they are pretty important. However, that is kind of a job for a jungler. But I thought I'd include it in this video just so you know that they're there and what is available, or available to help your team. As well as that, your bot lane will probably have a massive part in those drakes because that is the closest side to them. You have two pits on the map. One is located in the top half and the other one is located in the bottom. The drakes are in the bottom half. The Rift and the Baron are in the top half. So once we've done that, we know what we're going to do. We know what champion we're playing. We know we're going on to the Rift. How do I know how to play this champion? Now, there's three kind of sites that I've used in my time to kind of look into what sort of champions. The first one is u.gg. All these links will be down below if you are interested in using any of these sites. The first one, this one is the one I started off with. However, I did stray away from it when I found better ones. It basically just gives you the runes that you want to use, as well as the matchups, your summoner spells, and then your order of abilities. It's decent if you're starting out. It's very easy to use, as you can see here. you have different sort of pages which give you different sorts of builds. However, you just have standard pages. Next, the one that I use most often is League of Legends Graphs. This one is my favorite by far. It has all the champions you want. You literally can just click on them. You can see their counters, what they countered by, who they countered by, as well as you can see pro builds, the matchups, as I kind of just mentioned, the runes page, which they have a number of different options. And then you also have their skills page, which shows you different variations of what people have done and how they level up. And then you have the builds, which shows you a number of different builds that you can use in game depending on your situation. And then last but not least, you do have the popular summoner spells. So moving on from that, this website is extremely good. I would highly recommend it for pretty much anybody. If you are starting off, maybe using u.gg would be best until you feel more comfortable. However, if you do want the most variety, this one is there for you. And then I thought I'd include this one, Mobifier. This one is the handiest for when you want to main a certain champion and when you want to kind of get a lot of detail when it comes to champions. This contains a guide to every champion and an extensive guide. It includes pretty much everything you can imagine, from combos to each ability and how to use them with tips. They have different builds. They literally, if you can name it, they probably have it on this page. I've used it in the past to specifically look at certain champions and how to use them. And as you can see, you can search up. You have a ton of options, and you can also see by the votes on what exactly is favored to each champion and what people think are the best sort of guides. They have YouTube videos, they have absolutely everything you can imagine. I would recommend it, as I say, if you're looking to main a certain champion, a champion you really enjoy playing, and you just want to have as much information as physically possible. But with that being said, guys, we are coming towards the end of the video. Last thing I will mention is runes. Runes are kind of something that will help you in your gameplay. I will put a image on screen now. There's a load of different runes and how to do it. As I say, the guides on the screen or on the websites will help you when you need to jump into them, and you won't have to worry about them to kind of start off with. But the last thing you are now to do or ready to do is to start playing against bots. You as I will show on the screen, all you do is you go into co-op versus AI, you hit play, go into co-op versus AI, and then just pick a type of bot you want to play. I would start with intro and then work your way up. And then you can also use the practice tool to kind of get used to the mechanics, as well as learning how to farm minions by lasking them so you can earn money, as well as just getting used to your champion. But once you feel ready, you can then go on to the Rift to play against actual people. You start off with blind pick, which is the first one you're allowed. Then you can go into draft pick and then eventually into rank. So that is it, guys. This is a kind of short guide to League of Legends. As I say, I'm sorry if I missed anything, but I hope that I covered most of the basis and helped some people out there. Other than that, guys, please like if you found this guide helpful. If you want me to make another guide with a certain role, please let me know down below. But other than that, please like, comment, and subscribe. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.